Every great transformation begins not with a giant leap, but with the smallest step. It begins with a whisper in the mind, a question that refuses to fade. What if my life could be different? Think of a seed. Tiny, fragile, almost invisible in the palm of your hand. You plant in the soil, and for days, weeks, even months, nothing seems to happen. Yet, beneath the surface, roots are spreading, silently preparing for a future breakthrough. That seed is a habit, and just like the seed, it holds a power far greater than its size. We live in a world obsessed with big results. We celebrate the dramatic transformations, the overnight successes, the people who go from nothing to everything in what seems like a heartbeat. But the truth is far simpler and far more encouraging. Success is not the result of one giant decision, but of tiny choices made again and again, consistently, patiently, deliberately. A single push-up will not change your body. A single page will not make you a reader. A single dollar saved will not make you rich. But the repetition of that push-up, that page, that dollar, over days, weeks, years, creates a destiny. Imagine two planes leaving Los Angeles at the same time. One heads directly to New York. The other shifts its nose just 3 degrees south. That tiny shift is barely noticeable at the start, but by the time both planes have crossed the country, one will land in New York, and the other will end up in Washington, D.C. A small change in direction leads to a completely different destination. Your habits are your direction, and every small action you repeat, day after day, is steering your life toward a future you may not even see yet. But here's a challenge. Small changes often feel invisible. You go to the gym once and look in the mirror. Nothing. You study for an hour and still feel behind. You skip dessert one evening and your weight does not budge. And so you wonder, does this even matter? This is where most people give up, not realizing that results lag behind effort. Habits are like compounding interest in finance. Just as money multiplies over time when you invest it, the effects of your habits multiply as you repeat them. What feels insignificant today becomes undeniable tomorrow. Take, for example, the story of Dave Brailsford, who was hired to transform British cycling. For decades, Britain had been mediocre in the sport, with no Olympic golds and no Tour de France victories. Brailsford's philosophy was simple. Focus on the small improvements, what he called the aggregation of marginal gains. He improved the riders' nutrition by just 1%. He adjusted the seats on their bikes for comfort. He taught them how to wash their hands to avoid infections. He even experimented with pillows that gave them the best night's sleep. None of these changes looked dramatic on their own, but together, they compounded into something extraordinary. Within a few years, British cyclists were dominating the Olympics, and they went on to win the Tour de France multiple times. What does this teach us? That small habits, stacked together, can create world-class results. But habits are not just about achievement. They are about identity. Every action you take is a vote for the type of person you want to become. When you write one sentence, you are voting for the identity of being a writer. When you exercise for 10 minutes, you are voting for being an athlete. When you save a few dollars, you are voting for being financially responsible. The votes may be small, but they add up. Over time, your actions shape your identity, and your identity shapes your destiny. Too often, we think change requires motivation. We tell ourselves, if only I felt more inspired, I could do it. But motivation is fleeting. You cannot depend on it. What you can depend on is your system. If you design your environment in a way that makes good habits easy and bad habits difficult, change becomes natural. If the cookies are on the counter, you will eat them. If the fruit is visible, you will eat that instead. Your environment is silently shaping your behavior every day, whether you realize it or not. And so the real question is not, do I have enough willpower? The real question is, have I designed my environment for success? Habits are the invisible architecture of daily life. They are the compound interest of self-improvement. They can work for you or against you. The small things you do today might look irrelevant, but they are never wasted. They are preparing you for the person you are becoming. Pause for a moment and think, what small change could you make today that would, over the next year, lead to a different future? What habit could you plant like a seed, trusting that though the results may not appear tomorrow, they will eventually break through the soil and grow into something remarkable. This is where the journey begins. Not with a grand plan, not with a burst of inspiration, but with a single, small, deliberate act. Because success is not built in a day. It is built daily. So, if you are waiting for the right moment, stop waiting. The right moment is not coming. The only time you have is now. And every habit you choose is casting a vote for your future self. Will you be proud of the person those votes create? Or will you look back and wish you had chosen differently? The seed of change is in your hands. Plant it, water it, protect it. Because small changes, repeated consistently, do not just produce results. They create transformation. And the truth is, your life tomorrow is already being shaped by the habits you choose today. Change is not about what you want to achieve. Change is about who you want to become. Too many people set goals like, I want to lose weight, I want to earn more money, I want to read more books. But beneath every goal lies a deeper question. What kind of person do I want to be? Think about this. Two people are offered a cigarette. The first says, no thanks, I'm trying to quit. The second says, no thanks, I don't smoke. Both decline, but the meaning is completely different. The first person still identifies as a smoker who's fighting temptation. The second person identifies as a non-smoker. Their behavior flows from their identity. When you truly believe you are a certain kind of person, the right actions become natural. This is the hidden power of habits. Every small action is not just a step toward a goal, but a reinforcement of your identity. When you lace up your shoes and go for a walk, you're not just burning calories. You're proving to yourself that you are the kind of person who values health. When you save $10, you're not just collecting money. You're proving you are the kind of person who manages wealth wisely. And here's the truth. Lasting change always comes from identity, not outcomes. Outcomes are what you get. Identity is who you become. When you focus on identity, results follow naturally. Consider Michael Phelps, the Olympic swimmer. People saw the gold medals, the world records, the fame. But what truly made him great was not his outcome, but his identity. From a young age, he adopted the habits of a champion. He swam thousands of laps when no one was watching. He slept at the same time every night. He ate meals designed for performance. He built an identity around discipline, preparation, and consistency. When he stepped onto the world stage, the results were inevitable. This is why goals can be dangerous. A goal is a finish line, but life does not stop when you cross it. People train for a marathon, finish the race, and then stop running. They work hard to lose 20 pounds, then slip back into old routines. Goals may give you direction, but identity gives you endurance. When your habits are rooted in identity, you don't just reach a target, you maintain it. Because it's no longer about what you do once. It's about who you are every day. But how do you build identity? The answer is repetition. Every habit is like a vote. Each time you practice guitar, you are casting a vote for being a musician. Each time you meditate, you are casting a vote for being calm and mindful. No single action defines you, but the accumulation of actions does. If you keep casting votes in one direction, eventually you will believe it. Your identity is not fixed. It is shaped by the habits you choose to repeat. Of course, there will be setbacks. You will miss a workout. You will overspend. You will waste a day scrolling on your phone. But missing once does not erase your identity. Failure is not final unless you stop voting. The most powerful habit is not perfection. It is persistence. Get back on track quickly. Never miss twice. Imagine your life as a story you are writing. Every habit is a sentence. No single sentence defines the book, but together they create the narrative of your life. If you want to be a different person, start writing different sentences. The key is to focus less on achieving outcomes and more on becoming the kind of person who naturally produces those outcomes. Don't just run a marathon, become a runner. Don't just write a book, become a writer. Don't just save for retirement, become an investor. And here's the secret. Once you see yourself differently, your behavior begins to align with your belief. Identity creates habits, and habits reinforce identity. It is a circle of growth. But identity is not built in isolation. Your environment and the people around you are constantly shaping who you become. If you want to adopt a new identity, surround yourself with people who already live it. If you want to become fit, join a community where fitness is normal. If you want to grow financially, spend time with people who value money wisely. We imitate the habits of those around us, so choose your circle carefully. Take a moment and ask yourself, who is the person I wish to become? Not what do I want to achieve, but who do I want to be? Close your eyes and imagine the best version of yourself, the healthy one, the disciplined one, the wise one, the strong one. That version already exists within you. Every small action you take is a step closer to embodying it. The question is simple. With every choice, are you casting a vote for your future self or against it? The future is not some distant event waiting for you to arrive. The future is built in the present, brick by brick, habit by habit, identity by identity. So start small. Prove it to yourself with tiny wins. Write one line, walk one block, save $1. Let the repetition build the evidence, and let the evidence reshape your belief. Because the moment you start seeing yourself differently, your world begins to change. And once your identity shifts, your destiny follows. When people dream about success, they almost always dream in terms of goals. I want to lose 30 pounds. I want to earn $100,000. I want to publish a book. I want to quit smoking. Goals give us something to aim for. They make us feel ambitious, motivated, and inspired. But here's the hidden truth. Goals don't decide your future. Systems do. Think about it. Everyone has goals. Every athlete wants to win. Every entrepreneur wants to succeed. Every student wants to graduate. If having goals was enough, everyone would be fit, rich, and fulfilled. The difference between those who achieve and those who don't is never the goal itself. It is the system that supports it. A system is a collection of habits that shape your daily life. If you're a writer, your system is your routine of sitting down every morning with a blank page. If you're a musician, your system is the hours you practice scales and melodies. If you're an athlete, your system is the workouts, the nutrition, the recovery sessions, and the discipline repeated day after day. Systems are where results are born. Consider this. Goals are about the finish line, but systems are about the journey. Goals are temporary. Systems are permanent. Goals give you a direction. Systems give you progress. You might achieve a goal and then lose the result, but when you fall in love with a system, you never lose. Let me give you an example. Imagine two people decide to run a marathon. The first person sets a goal. I will finish the marathon in 6 months. They train hard, they push themselves, and on race day, they cross the finish line. They feel accomplished. But then what? Without a system, without a routine that continues beyond the race, they stop running. Within weeks, they lose fitness, and within months, they are back to where they started. The second person, however, doesn't just set a goal. They build a system, running 3 times a week, eating in a way that supports training, joining a local running club. For them, it's no longer about the marathon. It's about being a runner. They might finish slower, but they will keep running for years. The first person hit a goal. The second person built an identity. Which one do you think wins in the long run? This is why systems matter. They free you from the trap of short-term results and place you on the path of long-term transformation. But here's the challenge. Systems don't just happen by accident. They are shaped by your environment. Your environment silently guides your behavior, often more than willpower ever could. Think about the last time you walked into a kitchen and saw a plate of cookies sitting on the counter. Did you really choose to eat one, or did your environment make the decision easier for you? If the cookies weren't there, the temptation wouldn't even exist. Environment design is the hidden lever of habit change. If you want to drink more water, put a glass of water on your desk. If you want to practice guitar, keep it on a stand where you can see it, instead of hidden in the closet. If you want to read more, place books on your pillow so that when you go to bed, they're waiting for you. Make good habits obvious and bad habits invisible. In the same way, make bad habits hard to do. Want to watch less television? Unplug it after every use. So turning it on requires effort. Want to spend less time on your phone? Put it in another room while you work. Behavior follows the path of least resistance. So design your environment to make the right choice easy and the wrong choice difficult. Here's another truth. Habits are not just shaped by your physical environment, but also by your social environment. You imitate the people you spend the most time with. If your friends exercise, you are more likely to exercise. If your colleagues eat fast food every day, you will likely join them. If your family values reading, you'll find yourself picking up more books. The people around you are like mirrors, reflecting back to you what is normal. So if you want to change your habits, change your circle. Join a group where the desired behavior is the normal behavior. If you want to get fit, join a gym where people treat health seriously. If you want to grow spiritually, surround yourself with people who live by those values. If you want to be more ambitious, spend time with people who dream big. We become who we surround ourselves with. This is the power of systems and environments. They automate success. Willpower is fragile. Motivation fades, but systems endure. Systems work even when you're tired, even when you don't feel like it, even when life is messy. Because systems make habits part of your identity, part of your routine, part of your environment. Ask yourself, what system am I living in right now? Are my daily habits carrying me toward the future I want or away from it? Because your system is perfectly designed to give you the results you're currently getting. If you don't like your results, don't blame yourself. Change the system. The beauty of small changes is that you don't need to overhaul everything at once. Just adjust your environment slightly. Just tweak your routine. Just make the healthy option a little easier and the unhealthy option a little harder. Over time, those tiny changes will shift the trajectory of your life. Think of your life as a river. The current is your system. You can swim against it for a while, but eventually you get tired. If you align the current with the direction you want to go, you don't need to fight. You flow. This is why some people seem effortlessly disciplined. It's not that they're superhuman. It's that they've built systems and environments that pull them forward instead of holding them back. Discipline is not about resisting temptation. It is about removing temptation before it even arrives. So here's the invitation. Stop obsessing over goals. Stop waiting for the perfect burst of motivation. Instead, build systems. Create environments. Align your world in a way that makes your future inevitable. Because in the end, it is not the giant leaps that create transformation, but the daily steps. Not the goal you set, but the system you live in. Not the dream you imagine, but the habits you repeat. And once you fall in love with the process, once you make your system your lifestyle, success is no longer a question of if. It is only a matter of when. Every habit you have, good or bad, follows the same hidden pattern. It begins with a cue, leads to a craving, triggers a response, and ends with a reward. This cycle runs silently beneath your awareness, guiding your behavior, shaping your days, and ultimately deciding your future. To change your habits, you must first understand this loop. Picture this. You wake up in the morning. The sun filters through your blinds. Your alarm rings and you reach for your phone. That buzzing sound is the cue. You open your messages and see a notification from a friend. That sparks a craving, a desire to know what they said. You swipe, you read, you respond. That's the response. And finally, you feel a small burst of satisfaction, a reward. The loop is complete. Cue, craving, response, reward. Now think of another scenario. You're walking past a coffee shop. The smell of roasted beans drifts through the air. That scent is the cue. Your mind instantly recalls the comforting warmth of your morning latte. That memory sparks the craving. You step inside and place your order, the response. Minutes later, you sip the rich, hot drink and feel content, the reward. Again, the loop is complete. Habits are nothing more than solutions your brain has learned to solve repeated problems. You feel tired. You crave energy. You drink coffee. You feel stressed. You crave relief. You smoke a cigarette. You feel bored. You crave stimulation. You scroll through your phone. Each time you repeat the cycle, the connection grows stronger until the behavior becomes automatic. The challenge, of course, is that this loop works for both good and bad habits. The same brain wiring that makes you crave a workout can make you crave junk food. The same mechanism that pushes you toward reading can also push you toward endless scrolling. The loop itself is neutral. The direction you guide it decides whether it builds your future or breaks it. So, how do you master this invisible pattern? By reshaping each step of the loop. Start with the cue. Habits are triggered by the environment around you. If you want to form a new habit, make the cue obvious. Want to drink more water? Put a bottle on your desk. Want to practice gratitude? Leave a journal on your pillow. Want to exercise? Lay out your workout clothes the night before. The brain is lazy. It responds to whatever is easiest to notice. Make good habits visible and they will begin to grow. At the same time, if you want to break a bad habit, remove the cue. If you don't want to eat cookies, don't keep them in the house. If you want to spend less time on your phone, leave it in another room while you work. What is out of sight is often out of mind. By controlling what you see, you control what you do. Next comes the craving. Every habit is driven by a desire, a prediction of how you will feel if you take action. You don't just crave coffee. You crave the feeling of alertness. You don't just crave a cigarette. You crave relief from stress. You don't just crave social media. You crave connection. If you want to build good habits, learn to attach them to positive emotions. Remind yourself how good you'll feel after workout, not how hard it is to start. Imagine the pride of finishing the book, not just the struggle of opening it. When your brain learns to associate good habits with positive feelings, the craving grows stronger. The third step is a response. This is the actual action you take. But here's the secret. If a habit is too difficult, you won't stick to it. People fail not because they lack motivation, but because they make habits too hard. If you want to start exercising, don't plan an hour-long workout. Start with 5 minutes. If you want to write a book, don't force yourself to write a chapter. Start with 1 sentence. Small actions build momentum. And once you start, it's easier to keep going. Finally, the reward. This is a closing loop that teaches your brain whether the habit is worth repeating. Rewards create satisfaction, and satisfaction tells your brain, do this again. That's why habits stick when they feel good. If you want to make good habits last, make them satisfying. Celebrate small wins. Track your progress on a calendar. Feel the joy of consistency, not just the pressure of results. But here's the catch. Bad habits often give immediate rewards, while good habits give delayed rewards. Eating a donut feels great now, but harms your health later. Exercising feels uncomfortable now, but strengthens you later. This mismatch is why bad habits are so easy to form and good habits so easy to quit. The secret is to flip the script. Make good habits immediately rewarding and bad habits immediately painful. Reward yourself after workout, even if it's just with a smile in the mirror. Make wasting time costly. Turn off notifications or even use apps that block distractions. Shift the pleasure so it favors a habit you want to build. This 4-step loop, cue, craving, response, reward, explains nearly everything about your behavior. It is the hidden code that shapes your days. And once you see it, you can begin to reprogram it. Think of your mind like a garden. The cues are the seeds. The cravings are the sunlight and water. The responses are the growth of plants. And the rewards are the fruits you harvest. A good garden doesn't just happen. It is designed, tended, and cared for. Pull out the weeds of bad cues. Plant seeds of good ones. Water the habits you want to grow with positive feelings. And soon, the fruits of your efforts will appear. Now imagine applying this to every part of your life. Want to read more? Place books around your home. Feel the craving to escape into a story. Open the pages as your response. Enjoy the calm satisfaction as your reward. Want to build wealth? Set up automatic savings transfers. Watch the balance grow. Feel the pride of being responsible. The more you repeat the cycle, the more natural it becomes. This is the invisible pattern of habits. Cue, craving, response, reward. It is running in your life right now, whether you notice it or not. The question is, are you letting it run on autopilot, or are you taking control of the system? Because if you don't control your habits will control you. Backhand index pointing right kia tum chahogi main part 5 abilikin? In the beginning, small habits feel invisible. You do 10 push-ups, but your body looks the same. You save a few dollars, but your bank account doesn't change. You read 5 pages, but the book still feels endless. It's easy to believe your efforts don't matter. It's easy to quit. But here's the truth. Change doesn't happen all at once. Change compounds. And compounding is the most powerful force in the world. Imagine this. If you improve just 1% each day, you might not notice it today or tomorrow. But compound that over a year, and you'll be 37 times better. 1% better doesn't sound like much. But 37 times better? That's life-changing. Now flip the script. If you get 1% worse each day, you won't notice the damage today or tomorrow either. But over a year, the decline compounds. Habits are the compound interest of self-improvement. They may look small in the moment, but they grow, multiply, and shape the trajectory of your life. Let's bring this to life with a story. 2 friends decide to change their eating habits. The first adds 1 can of soda to his daily lunch. The second replaces soda with water. After 1 week, there's no noticeable difference. After 1 month, still nothing dramatic. But after 1 year, the first has gained weight and feels sluggish. The second has lost weight and feels energized. Small decisions, repeated daily, created 2 completely different futures. This is the silent power of habits. You don't see the effect until one day it becomes too big to ignore. Success is never the result of one giant leap. It's the accumulation of small, smart steps, repeated consistently over time. Think of an ice cube on a table. The room is cold, 25 degrees. You stare at the cube, waiting for it to melt, but nothing happens. You heat the room to 26 degrees, then 27, then 28. Still nothing. Then 29, 30, 31, still solid. Finally, at 32 degrees, the ice begins to melt. But the melting didn't happen because of that 1 extra degree. It happened because of all the small degrees that came before. Progress often hides beneath the surface until a breakthrough moment makes it visible. That's how habits work. You show up every day and nothing seems to change. But beneath the surface, the system is shifting. Energy is building. And one day, the results explode into view. People will call it overnight success. But you'll know the truth. It was a compound effect of small actions, stacked over time. Consider bamboo. For years, it barely grows above the soil. You water it, you nurture it, and nothing happens. Then, suddenly, it shoots up 90 feet in 6 weeks. Did it really grow in 6 weeks? No. It grew because of the years of invisible growth underground. Habits work the same way. The work you put in today may not show tomorrow, but it is never wasted. It is building roots. And this is where most people fail. They quit too early. They expect big results fast. They want instant gratification. But habits don't reward impatience. They reward persistence. The ones who succeed are not the most talented or the most lucky. They're the ones who refuse to give up when progress seems invisible. Now, think of the reverse. Just as good habits compound. So do bad ones. Skip a workout today. It feels harmless. Eat junk food tomorrow. Still no big deal. But stack those days together, and the damage multiplies. Habits are not just actions. They are votes for the type of person you are becoming. Each repetition casts a ballot. And over time, the ballots add up. You either become healthier or weaker, smarter or duller, richer or poorer. The direction of your life is not decided by a single choice. It is decided by the thousands of tiny choices you make every single day. That is both the terrifying and liberating truth. Terrifying, because you can no longer blame fate. Liberating, because you hold the power to shape your destiny. Think about your own life. What small habits are you repeating every day? What are you compounding? Are you building a future of strength, wisdom, and success? Or are you compounding weakness, distraction, and regret? Every action you take is a seed. You may not see the tree today, but it is growing. The question is, what kind of forest will you wake up to years from now? The beauty of compound growth is that it doesn't demand perfection. You don't need to be extraordinary every day. You just need to be consistent. Small improvements, stacked daily, will beat bursts of motivation every single time. Success is not built in sudden explosions of effort. It is built quietly in the silent accumulation of good habits. So the next time you feel like your effort doesn't matter, remember the ice cube, remember the bamboo, remember the soda can. The real change is happening beneath the surface, and one day it will reveal itself. Habits are compound interest. They magnify whatever you feed them. Feed them discipline, and they will magnify your success. Feed them laziness, and they will magnify your failure. But either way, they will compound. The choice is yours. And here's the most powerful truth of all. You're always just one small habit away from a completely different life. One push-up, one page, $1 saved, one decision to choose water instead of soda, one tiny act of discipline. Stack it, repeat it, watch it compound. Because in the end, greatness is not built in a single day. Greatness is built daily, in small, invisible ways that compound into extraordinary results. Every action you take is a vote for the kind of person you believe you are. That single truth can change your entire life. Because in the end, habits are not just about what you do. They are about who you become. Most people try to change their lives by focusing on outcomes. They say, I want to lose weight. I want to make more money. I want to write a book. But here's the trap. When you focus only on outcomes, you're chasing results without changing the system that creates them. And more importantly, you're not changing the identity behind those results. The deepest form of change doesn't come from what you want to achieve. It comes from who you believe you are. You don't just want to run a marathon. You want to become a runner. You don't just want to write a book. You want to become a writer. You don't just want to quit smoking. You want to become a non-smoker. Because if your identity doesn't change, your habits will eventually snap back to who you believe yourself to be. You might push yourself to go to the gym for a few weeks, but if deep down you still believe, I'm not the kind of person who exercises, your old patterns will return. Real change happens when you stop trying to change your results and start changing your identity. Here's how it works. Every action you take casts a small vote for the type of person you want to become. Do one push-up, you just voted for being a healthy person. Write one page, you just voted for being a writer. Save $1. You just voted for being financially disciplined. Each action is like a ballot slip, and over time, the pile grows. One vote doesn't decide the election, but the more votes you cast, the clearer the identity becomes. Now, let's make this real with a story. Imagine a man who is trying to quit smoking. He's offered a cigarette and replies, "No thanks, I'm trying to quit." That sounds good, right? But listen carefully. His identity is still tied to smoking. He still believes he is a smoker, just one who is resisting. Now imagine another man, also offered a cigarette. He says, "No thanks, I don't smoke." See the difference? One sees himself as a smoker fighting temptation. The other sees himself as a non-smoker. Identity shapes behavior, and behavior reinforces identity. That is why the smallest habits matter. They're not just actions. They are statements to yourself. They are evidence. Each time you keep a promise to yourself, you reinforce the story of who you are. You're no longer someone who wants to get in shape. You are an athlete in training. You are no longer someone who wants to read. You are a reader. You are no longer someone who wants to save money. You are a saver. The key is to stop asking, what do I want to achieve? And start asking, who do I want to become? Then let your habits be the proof of that identity. This is where people often go wrong. They set goals that are disconnected from their identity. Someone says, I want to run a marathon, but their identity is, I'm lazy and unfit. So they struggle. Another person says, I want to write a book, but their identity is, I'm not creative. So they give up. The mismatch between identity and habits creates friction. But when your identity and your habits align, progress flows naturally. If you identify as a healthy person, exercising is not a punishment. It's just what you do. If you identify as a writer, writing every day is not a chore. It's just who you are. If you identify as a leader, taking responsibility is not extra effort. It's part of your nature. And here's the beauty. Identity is not fixed. You can rewrite the story of who you are through your habits. Every time you act differently, you cast a vote for a new identity. At first, the votes are small, the pile is thin, and doubt is strong. But over time, as the votes stack higher, the story changes. The old identity weakens. The new identity strengthens. Until one day, you no longer have to convince yourself. You simply are. Think of it like carving a statue. Each habit is a chisel strike. At first, the marble looks the same, but with each strike, the shape emerges. One day, the statue stands tall, and everyone calls it art. But the art was always there, hidden in the marble. Your identity works the same way. The person you want to become is already inside you. Your habits are the strikes that reveal them. So how do you begin? Start small. Don't try to overhaul your life in one giant leap. Instead, prove to yourself who you are with tiny, undeniable evidence. Want to be a reader? Read one page today. Want to be fit? Do one push-up today. Want to be disciplined with money? Save $1 today. Small wins don't just create results. They create identity. Then repeat. Each repetition is another strike of the chisel. Another vote in the pile. Another step toward becoming the kind of person you want to be. And here's the secret. Once you see yourself differently, your behavior naturally follows. You don't need to fight with motivation or discipline. You simply live out who you believe you are. When your habits become a reflection of your identity, consistency becomes effortless. So ask yourself now, who do you want to become? Not what you want to achieve. Who do you want to be? Because the future is not built on wishes. It is built on identity. And identity is built day by day, habit by habit, choice by choice. Every action is a vote. Cast your votes wisely. You might believe that your habits are shaped by discipline, by motivation, by willpower. And yes, those matter, but not as much as you think. The truth is this: your environment often decides your habits before you do. Imagine walking into your kitchen and seeing a bowl of fresh fruit on the counter. Chances are you'll grab an apple. Now imagine walking into that same kitchen and seeing a jar of cookies instead. Chances are you'll grab a cookie. The decision feels personal, but it was shaped by the environment around you. Your brain is wired to respond to what is obvious and easy. You don't crave junk food because you're weak. You crave it because it's visible, convenient, and available. You don't check your phone because you have to. You check it because the device is glowing right beside you. Environment cues trigger habits, and most people never realize how much their surroundings are shaping their choices. That's why the best way to change your habits isn't to fight your environment. It's to design it. If you want to eat healthier, don't rely on willpower. Fill your fridge with vegetables. Leave fruit on the counter. Make the good choice easy and the bad choice invisible. If you want to work more, don't leave the TV remote on the couch. Put your phone in another room. Leave your laptop open with the project you need to finish. Shape the environment and your behavior will follow. This works in reverse too. If you want to break a bad habit, make it invisible. Don't keep junk food in the house. Don't leave cigarettes where you can see them. Don't keep social media apps on your home screen. What is out of sight is often out of mind. Think about this. Soldiers returning from the Vietnam War have been addicted to heroin. People feared that America would face a drug epidemic when they came home. But researchers discovered something remarkable. Once the soldiers left the environment where heroin was available, their addiction rates dropped dramatically. The change of environment changed the habit. That's how powerful surroundings are. But environment isn't just physical. It's also social. The people around you are like invisible architects of your habits. You don't just imitate their words. You imitate their behaviors, their values, their choices. If your friends eat unhealthy, you are more likely to do the same. If your coworkers complain constantly, you'll find yourself complaining too. If your circle values fitness, wealth, and growth, you'll rise to match them. Humans are tribal creatures. We want to belong. And to belong, we adapt. That's why surrounding yourself with the right people is one of the most powerful strategies for building better habits. Let's take an example. Imagine two people who both want to start going to the gym. The first is friends who love working out. They talk about exercises, share tips, Celebrate progress. Every conversation is fuel. The second has friends who spend evenings drinking and watching TV. For them, going to the gym feels like swimming against the current. Both people have the same goal, but one has an environment that pushes them forward, while the other has an environment that pulls them back. Your environment is either an ally or an enemy. It is either making your good habits obvious and easy, or your bad habits tempting and inevitable. So, how do you use this to your advantage? First, redesign your physical spaces. If you want to practice guitar, keep it in the center of your living room instead of in the closet. If you want to read more, put a book on your pillow so you can't miss it at night. If you want to stop wasting time online, unplug your Wi-Fi after work, or use apps that block distractions. Let your surroundings do the heavy lifting. Second, upgrade your social circle. Surround yourself with people who embody the habits you want to adopt. If you want to become fit, spend time with people who exercise. If you want to grow financially, spend time with people who talk about investing, not just spending. If you want to grow spiritually, spend time with people who value wisdom and reflection. And if you can't find such people nearby, create a virtual circle. Read books from great minds. Listen to podcasts that inspire growth. Follow people who embody the values you want to live. Your environment doesn't have to be limited by geography. It can be designed through choice. Here's the key. Stop trying to fight your environment. Stop trying to resist temptation in a place that is filled with it. Instead, design your surroundings so that success becomes natural, not forced. Think of it like this. If you want to grow a plant, you don't just shout at the seed. You create the right conditions, soil, water, sunlight, and the seed grows on its own. You are the same. Your habits are seeds, and your environment is the soil. Create the right conditions, and growth becomes inevitable. And never forget, you rise to the level of your surroundings. Place a straight stick among crooked ones, and it will bend. Place it among straight ones, and it will stay upright. The people and places around you are bending you, shaping you, molding you, often without you noticing. So ask yourself, what is my environment silently teaching me? Who are my friends silently turning me into? What habits am I absorbing simply by being here? Because your future is not only shaped by what you do, it is shaped by where you are and who you are with. Choose wisely, design deliberately, and you will find that change becomes not just possible, but inevitable. In the end, the story of your life is not written in one grand moment. It is written in the small, silent choices you make every single day. Success is not an event. It is a lifestyle. Failure is not an accident. It is a slow decay of neglected habits. Your habits are the architects of your destiny. Look back at history. Great empires were not built overnight. They were built brick by brick, day by day, battle by battle. The same is true for you. The empire of your future is built in the tiny victories you win each day. You may not see the results today, but each small act of discipline, each tiny step forward, each habit repeated, is laying the foundation of greatness. Mastery is not about doing one thing perfectly. It is about doing small things consistently. The world celebrates champions when they win the medal, but the medal is earned in the lonely hours of practice. The world admires writers when they publish the book, but the book is born in the quiet minutes spent typing one page at a time. The world applauds the wealthy when they reach financial freedom, but the wealth is built in the quiet discipline of saving and investing each month. The secret is not intensity, it is consistency. Anyone can push themselves for a day. Anyone can be disciplined for a week. But the ones who succeed are the ones who show up even when it's boring, even when it's invisible, even when nobody is watching. True greatness is built in silence. And here's the irony. Once you master your habits master your life. What once felt difficult becomes natural. The person who once struggled to run a mile becomes a person who feels incomplete without their morning jog. The person who once fought to save money becomes a person who cannot imagine wasting it. The person who once dreaded reading becomes a person who carries a book everywhere. Habits are not just what you do. They are who you become. Every repetition is a stroke of the brush, painting the picture of your life. And the picture is never finished. Each day adds color, depth, and shape. The question is not whether you are painting. It is what masterpiece you are creating. But let's be clear, mastery is not perfection. You will stumble. You will miss days. You will fall short. That doesn't erase your progress. Missing one workout doesn't make you unhealthy. Spending one day distracted doesn't make you lazy. Eating one slice of cake doesn't ruin your health. What matters is not the mistake. It's the return. Success is not built on never failing. It is built on never quitting. Think of a plane flying across the ocean. If the nose shifts by just a few degrees, the plane will land in an entirely different country. Your habits are those tiny shifts. They may feel small today, but over years, they carry you to a completely different destination. And the beauty is, you can always adjust your course. It doesn't matter where you started. It matters where your habits are taking you. So ask yourself now, what life do I want to arrive at in 10 years? Do I want to be strong, healthy, and wise? Or tired, regretful, and weak? Do I want to be free or trapped, fulfilled or empty, proud or ashamed? Because the answer is hidden in the habits you live today. Every great transformation begins not with massive action, but with a single choice. One step, one page, one push-up, $1. One decision to begin. Because the beginning is never about the result. It is about casting the first vote for the person you want to become. And once you begin, you must continue. Day after day. Repetition after repetition. Small improvements, small wins, small victories. Until one day, the small becomes great. The invisible becomes undeniable. And the life you once dreamed of is simply the life you live. Remember, you are never too late. You are never too broken. You are never too stuck. Change is always possible because change begins with one choice. And that choice is always in front of you. So choose today. Choose to design your environment, to surround yourself with the right people, to build identity through small wins, to trust the power of compounding. Choose to master the invisible pattern of habits rather than being its slave. Choose the life you were meant to live. Because greatness is not reserved for the chosen few. It is available to anyone willing to take small steps, consistently, relentlessly, faithfully. The future is not something you wait for. It is something you create. And you create it in the smallest of ways, one choice at a time. So start today. Start now. And let your habits build the life you were born to live.